All right, so yeah, I line myself up down here somewhere as well. The level of C, like I just got one question. For the guys that have a fairly low level of C, tell me what is a rule?
What is a rule? Something to be broken.
Perfect.
Or bent.
Or at least, yeah, contorted to suit yourself. Yep.
Make it suit.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. So a rule is something to be broken. What do you guys think? What is a rule? Toe the line. A rule is something that you follow. Okay. Who can see a potential conflict here? Exactly. And the reality is even if you score low in C, there are some rules that you can't break, right? Okay. So if you wanted to get a job on a mining site and you don't follow the OH&S, you get one chance and you're done. So the most common, this is where we're getting to your question, the most common adaptation people make in their profiles from their natural to adapting is, do you guys adapt your level of C up a little bit in your adapting style? Most people do. Probably 80% of people adapt their level of C up. How come? You got to. Exactly, because you're working in a structured environment, you know, and a football team is a structured environment. What about, how does this look like as a player? You guys played, right? Yeah. Tell me about your playing days. So I would define you as a unstructured style of player. Right, yeah. So they push the envelope and all of the, you know, sometimes a little bit too far, and that's part of the learning, isn't it? Yeah, but in terms of playing what you see rather than relying on sort of structure and set plays and tactics all the time. But having said that, could you still follow a set play?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you had to do it, you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, but that's an example of doing this, making an adaptation. Why? Because the team is depending upon you doing that. And so by the same token, can you guys play less structured when you have to? What do you think? So what's an example of that? What's an example of going from being more structured to less structured on the playing field? How do you notice that with your players?
I reckon they struggle the most. I reckon it's one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for them to be spontaneous.
And it's sometimes challenging for the more spontaneous ones to be really structured. Yeah, so, you know, it's an awareness one. So I think what's useful is for your players to understand, well, what do you think? Do you think it would be useful for them to understand who's structured and who's unstructured? Sure. Because what can happen in a game is that an unstructured player will do something that the structured players won't what?
Yeah, they probably don't need what they're going to do.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, structured players supporting unstructured players and vice versa. But if people understand this, then sort of more of an awareness as to being able to predict what might happen, right? Okay. Here's something interesting. From a coaching perspective, we sort of think that this C style of coaching, C style coaches tend to create a great environment, logistically well planned, well organised. Would you agree? Okay, we've worked with quite a few at various levels in sport. And from my observations, they don't say a real lot. They create a great environment and they let their players go out there and actually get on with it and play. When they have to, they step in, but otherwise, they let it happen. Okay, and then take their opportunity at the end. They don't always jump in and interject and stopping and starting things. They just sort of let it roll. What do you think? But from if you can't adapt your level of C up as a coach, then you don't sit down at the beginning of the season and do what? Plan. So planning is all C. So obviously if you want to be a good coach, you've got to have a good plan and strategies and structures and logistics and have everything well organised.